A man walks in his room after work and is surprised to find his wife lying undressed on the bed. After careful examination, he spies a pair of bare feet sticking out from underneath the curtains. He rips open the blinds to find an undressed man standing there. "Who the hell are you?" he yells. The undressed guy replies, "I'm the moth inspector's." "Oh yeah. What are you doing undressed?" He looks down and exclaims, "Oh my God, I'm too late." One night, an 87-year-old woman came home from bingo to find her husband in bed with another woman. She became violent and ended up pushing him off the balcony of their 20th floor apartment, killing him instantly. Brought before the court under the charge of murder, she was asked if she had anything to say in her defense. "Your Honor," she began coolly, "I figured that at 92, if he could screw, he could fly." When Bob found out he was going to inherit a fortune, when his sickly father died, he decided he needed a woman to enjoy it with. So one evening, he went to a singles bar, where he spotted the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. Her natural beauty took his breath away. "I may look like just an ordinary man," he said as he walked up to her, "but in just a week or two my father will die, and I'll inherit $20 million. Impressed, the woman went home with him that evening. 3 days later, she became his stepmother. A college teacher reminded her class of tomorrow's final exam. "Now, class," she said, "I won't tolerate any excuses for you not being here tomorrow. I might consider a nuclear attack, a serious personal injury or illness, or a death in your immediate family. But that's it. No other excuses whatsoever." A smart-ass guy in the back of the room raised his hand and asked, "What would you say if tomorrow I said I was suffering from complete and utter sexual exhaustion?" The entire class was reduced to laughter and snickering. When silence was restored, the teacher smiled knowingly at the student, shook her head and sweetly said, "Well, I guess you'd have to write the exam with your other hand." A guy walks into a bar and orders a rum and coke, but the bartender hands him an apple. "What the hell is this? I ordered a rum and coke," the guy protests. "Just take a bite of the apple," says the bartender. So the guy bites the apple, and his eyes light up. "Hey, this apple tastes just like rum. What did you soak it in?" The bartender tells him, "Turn it around." So the guy does, takes another bite, and is suddenly quite pleased. "It tastes like a Coke. It's a rum and coke apple. That's pretty neat, pal." Another man approaches the bar and asks the bartender for a gin and tonic. The bartender hands him an apple. Confused, the man begins to question the validity of the bartender, when the first guy reassures him, "Buddy, try the apple," and with a nod of his own, takes another bite. The second man follows suit and looks back at the bartender in exclamation. "Tonic? What's this? A tonic apple?" The bartender swirls his finger in the air and tells the man, "Turn it around." The man has a bite from the other side of the apple and is exuberant. "It's gin." It's really gin. A gin and tonic apple. The two men reveled in this discovery for a while when a dwarf walked up to the bar, made his way onto a stool beside the men, and beckoned for the bartender. As he's about to order, the second man interrupts him. "Oh, hey man, wait! You should order an apple. You can get an apple that tastes like anything you want here. I've got a gin and tonic apple, and this guy's got a rum and coke apple." The dwarf casts an incredulous look at the bartender, who plainly nods back in confirmation. "Oh yeah," he starts. "Okay then, it's been a while. Gimme the sweet taste of a woman-flavored apple." And the bartender hands him an apple. The dwarf takes a big, expectant bite from the apple and immediately spits it out all over the bar. "This apple tastes like shit." The bartender swirls his finger in the air and tells him, "Turn it around, turn it around." A woman goes into a dentist's office, and after he is through examining her, he says, "I'm sorry to tell you this, but I'm going to have to drill." The woman then says, "Ooh, the pain is so awful. I'd rather have a baby." To which the dentist replies, "Make up your mind, I have to adjust the chair." A cowboy goes into a bar and orders a drink. As he sits there sipping his whiskey, a young lady sits down next to him. She turns to the cowboy and asks him, "Are you a real cowboy?" He replies, "Well, I've spent my whole life on the ranch, herding horses, mending fences, and branding cattle, so I guess I am." She says, "I'm a lesbian. I spend my whole day thinking about women. As soon as I get up in the morning, I think about women. When I shower or watch TV, everything seems to make me think of women." A little while later, a couple sits down next to the cowboy and asks him, "Are you a real cowboy?" He replies, "I always thought I was, but I just found out that I'm a lesbian." A man runs to the doctor and says, "Doctor, you've got to help me. My wife thinks she's a chicken." The doctor asks, "How long has she had this condition?" "2 years, says the man. "Then why did it take you so long to come and see me?" asked the shrink. The man shrugs his shoulders and replies, "We needed the eggs." Once upon a time, in a quaint little village, there was a yearly tradition that many looked forward to with great anticipation. For one day each year, the normally polite and God-fearing villagers would gather together in the town square and participate in a competition of curses. It was a chance for them to let loose and unleash their most foul and creative profanities in a natural and flowing manner. As the day of the competition approached, excitement in the village grew. People began practicing their curses in secret, trying to come up with something truly unique and memorable. But as the day of the competition arrived, it quickly became clear that this year's event was going to be a disappointment. While some people managed to come up with moderately creative curses, nobody really managed to blow the competition away with their profanity. As the day wore on, and the more promising talents had already gone up on the stage to perform, it was time for the lesser talents to have their turn. Peter, an unknown cursing enthusiast, was called up. They called his name several times, but he wasn't answering. After a few minutes, they heard the door to the outhouse slammed shut, and Peter emerged sprinting towards the stage. As he arrived, he began a flow of curses that left the villagers completely stunned. He was jumping up and down, screaming out profanities that were so vile and disgusting. Even the most experienced old men in the village were taken aback by this incredible tirade of verbal pollution. Peter's curses were so foul and creative that nobody could believe what they were hearing. Even those who had heard it all before were left speechless. Eventually, the flow of curses began to end, and the village people all stared at Peter in amazement. "All right," said Peter brightly. "Got that darn zipper up? Now for the cursing."